Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the AZ Sports community, the AZ Sports fan.
What's up, dude,
How's it
man?
going?
How you doing?
Hey, doing good, bro. So tell the audience where they can find you on social media or any other platform.
Cool. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, my name is Mike. I go by the AZ Sportsman here on YouTube. You could find me on Instagram as well as on Twitter as well. All you need to do is look for the AZ Sports Fan. You'll see the exact same logo that I have on YouTube. And yeah, I do a lot of Arizona content when it comes down to it. Cardinals. I did a little Suns when the Suns were going on the run. And then now we're going back to football season. I'm really excited.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing about you, man. You were very active on the Phoenix Suns playoffs, and you were getting some good views out of that momentum right there, man.
It was.
Yeah, very unfortunate you guys came up short, man. The moment that
Yeah.
it came down to the Bucks, man, it kind of took away your momentum. But let's get to football.
Cool, love it, bro. I know. I don't want to relive that football, that NBA series, man. But yeah, let's move on.
All right, so let's discuss about the roundtable that we're gonna start on Tuesday. Can you tell the audience about it?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. So myself, CG, as well as Steezy A. Smith, as well as Rams Showcase, we're all doing a NFC West roundtable every Tuesday at. You might have to correct me. It's 5 p.m. right, or was it 6 p.m.? I forgot what time we were having it on.
6 p.m. I got it through the inbox.
Okay, perfect. 6 p.m. It's going to be Pacific time, and right now that is the same time as Arizona. So we're going to have a lot of fun, man. It's going to be every Tuesday. Just kind of going back and forth, giving some updates, what we feel about if we do go on a matchup. So, like, let's say, for example, me, and the 49ers go, we're going to have a lot of high dosage of me and CG talking. So it's going to be really fun. I'm very excited about football season coming around.
I guess this guy was looking for a Cardinals fan, but it was too late, man.
What's up, dude? I need an A. Oh, there you go. Here we go.
Yeah, okay, so let's get to the topic of training camp. What stood out for the Cardinals? Can you give us any update for those AZ sports fans in that community you talked to?
Yeah, man. So as of right now, training camp is still going on. So we still have about 4 to 5 solid days of open training camp for, fans to come up and just kind of overall hang out. I'm going to definitely try my best to stop by and watch, because I'm very excited about preseason coming around. And it starts very, very soon. This is the first day of August. So we have, 2 weeks. We're going to start our very first preseason game. So I'm absolutely super stoked about it. But the players that really stood out to me was probably AJ Green and Rondale Moore. Now, I know that there was a lot of kind of back and forth going around with Rondale Moore, the wide receiver we got out of Purdue in the second round. The Cardinals and a lot of fans are really hyping him up. So he is supposed to be what Andy Isabella was supposed to be for us, but he's a lot more physical. He's a lot more explosive down the field. So I'm really excited to see what he looks like.
Oh yeah, I'm hearing a lot of good things about your receiving core this year. Like having DeAndre Hopkins, it's kind of been like a little drama with him going on. But then you got guys like AJ Green, who's kind of coming off an injury, and maybe this can be the guy who steps out, and then people would just realize, oh, I thought this is not the AJ of the Bengals version, but hey, he might just resurrect his career. I look at your receivers; it's pretty intriguing. You guys got some pretty good talent right there. I mean, especially that rookie, Rondale Moore has got that speed. You got Christian Kirk, who's really a good slot receiver for you guys. It's like, I mean, there's a lot to really like about the Cardinals receiving core as far, but a lot of people keep questioning the play calling of your head coach, man. What's your thoughts of that?
Yeah, man. So I think it's on my channel, I think it's very obvious to, what my feelings are about Cliff Kingsbury. My number one thing is I want him to succeed. Like, that's what I want. I want Cliff Kingsbury to succeed because obviously if he does, my team does good. Straight, that's just facts right there. But there has been very questionable things going on from Cliff Kingsbury, but I do think hopefully, fingers crossed, going into the third year, he's going to get a little bit better grasp of adjusting during game times and not calling so many screenplays. I'm hoping. So I think we'll be good. We're adding some solid pieces. I know a lot of people were saying, AJ Green, not that big of a deal, but the good thing about having AJ Green, in my personal opinion, is that he doesn't need to be a number one wide receiver at all. He's a solid number two. We have DeAndre Hopkins, and that is what it is. Like, he doesn't have to kind of, put some paint on a pig. He's a number two wide receiver. That's what all he needs to be. DeAndre Hopkins is the number one guy, and that is going to be where we're going to be, feeding most of the receiving yards. And then I'm really excited to see who's going to win that third position, whether it's Christian Kirk or Rondale Moore. In my personal opinion, I think Christian Kirk might pull it off because he's got the veteranness on him. But if he doesn't get it going, I do see Rondale Moore coming up, sneak attack, and getting that third wide receiving position.
Yeah, the thing about your third receiver spot, I've seen a lot of good out of Christian Kirk, but it's going to be a uphill battle between him and Moore. I've heard a lot of good buzz about this guy. He's got speed, and that's some kind of player that Kyler Murray wants to throw a deep pass to, and this guy's got some blazing speed. Yeah. So let's get on to the side of the defense of the ball. I mean, you can go on for this receiving core. There's a lot about this Cardinals offense that's pretty unique. So what's been okay? Let's get to the question of what's the biggest strength of your team that you improved last year that could be the one that teams are not gonna underestimate anymore?
Oh, great question. Honestly, I would have to say, like, if one thing pops up to my mind right now, I want to stay on the defensive side of the ball. Now, the biggest reason for that is because I think it was very obvious as to, a good amount of games we weren't able to win because we just could not make those crucial stops. And I do think that with the second year of Isaiah Simmons going in and being that linebacking role that, we put him at towards the end of the year, which he showed some flashes. And then we got Zaven Collins coming up as the middle linebacker, which is the Mike linebacker, the number one guy in the defense. I am very excited to see what they would look like as a duo, especially Isaiah Simmons getting first-round pick, and then Zaven Collins' first-round pick this last year. So if I were to have to choose one specific position, I would say that, just because I'm super intrigued to figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah, on paper, you guys got some good linebacker right there. That Zaven Collins pick kind of surprised me by a little, but it had to play the factor of the cornerback because you guys wanted J.C. Horn, but it didn't happen. So it just led you guys to the linebacker. So it kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't think you guys were going to get a linebacker, but hey, sometimes.
I'm right there with you, man. I was very, very shocked as well. I made a draft party where, we're kind of watching the draft with the fans and stuff like that. So it was very exciting, but yeah, I was very shocked too. Now, the crazy thing is, like, I did hear some rumors and buzz like 2 days ago. 2 days prior to the draft saying that if no top quarterbacks or no top wide receivers were there, we were going to go Zaven Collins. And I put a video about it, but I really didn't believe it too much until it actually happens. But I was equally shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the AZ fans weren't catching by surprise until you put it out there. So I guess you were like one of those kind of guys with the good insight there. So looking forward to the season when it comes down to us playing against each other twice a year, man. It's like, which player that stands out for the Cardinals this year that I need to watch out for? Like, this might be the guy I need to worry about when we play against you guys.
I would have to say I'm expecting some big things on Kyler. I'm expecting some big, huge things on Kyler Murray. So I know that's probably the easiest, answer to give you. Watch out for Kyler Murray. But I do think him going into his third year, a lot of people think that Cliff Kingsbury is basically holding him down. Like, he has so much more room for potential, but the play call, the lack of, innovation from Cliff Kingsbury is holding Kyler back. But I would honestly say Kyler. I think Kyler's going to take a huge leap this year with running the ball, getting more, adding that third year under his belt. So I would say watch out for Kyler.
I wouldn't disagree on that. I mean, he is very athletic, very exceptionally good. I mean, he can extend to the pocket. He's very smart when it comes to running the ball. He'll slide down. He won't be like Lamar Jackson and run like reckless. I mean, this guy plays the game smart. He could have played for the Oakland A's, but nope, he wanted to play football. And as an Oklahoma Sooners fan, this guy is a big threat. So it does give you makes the defense be honest. So the biggest weakness of my team for quite a while has been slowing down mobile quarterbacks, especially Kyler Murray. He's been having our number when it comes down to it. When we think for a second we got this guy, nope, he runs around, extends the plays just like Russell Wilson does. It really frustrates me to even admit it, but I think that's the only thing that's been holding our defense back when it comes down to the mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah. And it's tough, man. I mean, here in the Arizona side, I felt the same way with Russell Wilson. I felt the same way when you guys had Colin Kaepernick as well. Where the whole the mobile quarterback situation, man, it's very tough because you have to kind of take out your defense and basically go on a whim, and your team needs to be smart enough to know what to do. And sometimes people are very to the play and they'll stick to it until it breaks down, and then watch out because mobile quarterbacks can completely change the dramatics of the game, especially Russell Wilson. And when Colin Kaepernick was, in his prime, I used to fear those days, man. I used to absolutely fear those days because that guy was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, especially when he ran against Green Bay in the playoffs. He almost had 200 yards rushing, man. Come on, that's like insane. Who gets like 182 yards rushing and runs all over the Green Bay Packers defense? That's been Green Bay's nightmare. But when it comes down to these mobile quarterbacks, I think that's what's been our issue. It's like we just haven't been able to contain them. But maybe this offseason, maybe this year will probably change a little bit. I think by signing Samson Ebicom, who's been very good against mobile quarterbacks and containing them, maybe there's a good chance we can make some significant improvement there. But
yeah,
when you have to face the likes of Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson twice a year, it's going to create a lot of problems. So you got to figure out ways to contain them. So
I agree, man. I had a question for you, if that's okay. I know, I think it was a couple weeks back or maybe about a week ago, there was news that came out that said Kyle Shanahan is naming Jimmy G your quarterback. Now, I'm not sure if that's completely official. Maybe I just read an article that didn't have a lot of validity to it. How do you feel about that? Like, are you cool with it? Are you cool with Trey Lance sitting up a little bit? Or how do you feel, man?
Well, it's because we're not going to rush Trey Lance to play right away. I'm not as concerned like most of us are. I mean, I had the feeling from the get-go we weren't going to play Trey Lance right away. It would be a surprise if he somehow wins the starting job, but I think this is the last chance for Jimmy G to prove himself. And as I see a lot of my own fan base coming up to the Trey Lance train, they're trying to say, get rid of Jimmy. But here's the reality. This guy knows our offense, and he's very familiar with how we win. Without him playing, we've been losing. So it's like, why do you want to rush a rookie quarterback and get him to the fire? It's not worth it. And when it comes down to it, I mean, Jimmy G just has the entire locker room behind him. So why would you want to tear something up that's not broken when you got somebody that people respect? And I'm good with Jimmy for one more year because if we can get him for one good year, we can make a trade offer and get a good draft pick out of this. So I think that's something we got to do. Yep.
That's fair.
So
other than that, that was the main thing in terms of like my questions, because I know when it comes down to, man, like we've been that team as well multiple years where the very first time that we got rookie quarterbacks were back to back with Josh Rosen and Kyler, and the fan base, man, they get very loud when it comes down to it. But I do think you have a very solid team defensively and offensively, and the quarterback position, although it's huge, you're right, Jimmy G does have that. He knows the offense a lot better than Trey Lance would, but I can see if this turns sideways real quick, there's going to be a lot of people out there saying, bring in Trey Lance. And I'm super excited to watch the 49ers just because of that drama. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Just because of that drama alone.
Oh, that drama kind of reminds me a little bit back then when Alex Smith was playing so terrible. They had that chant, "We want Carr."
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Man,
dude,
oh,
you got to love the fans, man. You got to love the fans.
It's kind of like those Eagle fans would do, throw stuff at them.
100%. Yeah, man. So, Carson Wentz is doing he got moved over to Colts, but I heard he got injured, and now they're going to be rolling with Hurts. So let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. So looking into the offseason with the Arizona Cardinals, signing J.J. Watt does give you guys a good veteran leadership right there. So what's going on? Okay, I've seen you post this news like a few days ago about Chandler Jones. Man, what's your main concern about it? Is it gonna be a possibility that he will be gone, or are you just too panicking about him being gone?
I think at that moment when those videos were put out, I think there was a lack of information that was put out, and I think for the most part, most of the fan base knew something was going on. And the reason why I say that is because I had at least 2 or 3 comments each video saying, "What was your idea or what was your thoughts on Chandler Jones?" And if somebody doesn't really follow a lot of the rumors and stuff like that, they really wouldn't know what they were talking about. But I knew. Basically, it all started with Chandler Jones like scrubbing everything Arizona Cardinals related from his Instagram. And this happened around February or March of sorry, give me 1 second. February or March of this last year, so 2021. And then rumor had it that came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that, he wanted to do a trade request. And of course, that makes a lot of people panicking. But I think the main thing was that he requested this trade back in March. But I do think that everything's fine now. Like, he's in training camp. Everything looks good. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay, so that kind of keeps you so like a few days ago you were just like, oh,
yeah,
for a
dude,
second,
yeah,
then
man.
you just.
Well, it was the same thing with DeAndre Hopkins too, man. Because after the whole situation, saying something along the lines of like saying, "Oh, hey, I consider retiring over everything that's going on, not wanting to be vaccinated." It's a big deal, man. It's absolutely big, and I'm a little dramatic, and I understand that. But those are the 2 big news on the off season that was kind of something to talk about. And I do think DeAndre Hopkins will be here, and I do think Chandler Jones is going to stay. Now, whether they do a contract extension for him or not, I don't know. That's going to be for the Arizona Cardinals to decide from there, but we'll see.
Okay, so it depends on. I think he just wants a new contract. He wants to be a high paid player, and I've heard your latest video about Xavier Howard. Is that what you guys intend to do? Are you guys maybe there's a package with Chandler Jones to the Dolphins, and then you get Xavier Howard? Would that be a good trade scenario?
Not for me. No. Yeah. So after my video I posted, I did a live stream, and I pretty much was begging this front office to not send Chandler Jones anywhere at all. If we can somehow keep Chandler Jones happy and we can somehow trade for Xavier Howard, I feel like that would be the best case scenario. But of course, we don't always get what we want. Obviously, that's like the rainbows and sunshines type of scenario. But that would be my thing. I will never, ever, ever, ever say I want Chandler Jones to be traded. This guy has more. He's a lot more than just the player. Like, he's great veteran leadership. He's a great team player just in general. Him being on the field, even if he's hurt, the defense or, the coordinators already have to think about what are we going to do with Chandler Jones? Like, they're going to have to plan around Chandler Jones. So even if his name being out there, it's a lot bigger than, a lot of people have to say. So I think Chandler Jones is staying. I don't want him traded, and I will not trade him for Xavier Howard. But I still want Xavier Howard, though. I still want him. But
so you want Xavier Howard, but just don't give away Chandler Jones, please don't give away Chandler Jones. That's what you're saying in your own mindset.
Exactly, correct, exactly. Keep Chandler Jones. Consider getting Xavier Howard, because I think one of the biggest things going into this year in the defensive side of the ball, this Arizona Cardinal team's defense is pretty good. It's pretty good, and they're pretty good. But the cornerback position to me is a little scarce. So wide receivers, especially our first week, we have the Tennessee Titans. Guess who came to the Tennessee Titans? Julio Jones. Guess who's another wide receiver there? A.J. Brown. And I'm worried, man. I'm really worried. Right now we got Malcolm Butler, which, is pretty good. And then we got Byron Murphy, 3rd year coming into the year to the league. And then we also have Robert Alford, which had 2 out of the 3 years of his contract just hurt. Completely hurt in training camp, and he hasn't been able to be on the field. So I really don't know what type of production he can bring to us. So in my personal opinion, Xavier Howard would be a no-brainer for the Arizona Cardinals to get on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it would improve your secondary. I mean, it's been a weakness for the Niners also when it comes down to it, especially depth-wise. Like, you look at the Seahawks too; it's one of the weakest positions for them. Also, you include my team when it comes to depth-wise. Cardinals. Yeah, I could agree on that part because A lot of your secondaries are younger now. You got a guy like Byron Murphy. You got quite a few other young players I can't keep in mind, but they're going to need a veteran leadership. So yeah, I guess your boy Mara Tanaka said Byron Murphy will have a breakout year. Do you agree
I
or
hope
disagree?
so, man. I hope so. I mean, I only hope good things for our players. I mean, obviously, when they do good, our team does good. Now, I know that Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator, said that he might try Byron Murphy out on the outside. I would like that. I've been screaming up and down to see if we can give him the option to put him outside. I know he's more of a slot type cornerback, but I think desperate times calls for desperate measures. And if he can be on the outside and if he's good, why not? Give the young man the opportunity to be out there and hopefully become the next P2.
Okay, so I guess your fanboy Lennon's asking about Kyler Murray, man. I guess it's your opinion.
Yeah. What is it? Do you think Kyler Murray will have MVP this year? So I don't want to put anything on it. Like, I feel like that's just so much expectations. I know I get where people are coming from. You know, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allen's, their third years they had this big breakout year, and I know a lot of people are trying to put Kyler Murray into that same mold. I don't care about any of that stuff. I really don't. All I want to do is make sure this team gets better and make sure that we can get to the playoffs. Like, that's my number one mindset. If it comes with an MVP, then cool, awesome. I like Kyler Murray. I do think that he could eventually get us to the position that we want to. And for me, as a sports fan, I want to see some consistency. I want to make sure that our team, if he can give us 10, 12, 13 solid years and being our quarterback, I want to see some consistency. If we're not going to the playoffs, we're going to be a fringe team that's going to be close to the playoffs, so we see some exciting type of football. Don't want to be a draft pick from here on out. I'm tired of it.
Okay, I like the answer, man. Realistically, you're more outspoken. I can respect that. And so as of looking forward to this season, okay, there's a player in mind you might need to watch out for. It's been an issue when we play Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah.
Kyler Murray's been having his way running from us. Maybe you might need to watch out for this guy. We got him from the Rams. He might be the sleeper. He can really contain quarterbacks. He's contained Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. So he's done it in the past.
Yeah.
So I think this guy can really solve that issue, but that's yet to be determined. DeMeco Ryans just has a different style of defense compared to what I'm hearing. It's a lot of great vibe from the players. They're going to blitz a little bit, so you're going to expect the Niners to blitz a little bit than the previous years under Saleh as DC. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, offensively, the player that's standing out to me from training camp, I'm hearing a lot of good buzz. Mohamed Sanu. This guy's coming out looking in the best shape of quite frankly, last season he was a little out of shape. Now he's a little bit back in competitive shape. So I've been hearing buzz about him. And okay, for Mara Tanaka's opinion, man, let's be honest, man. Kyler Murray is athletic, but I think Bosa was coming off an injury, and it was kind of like any other way. So, what do you think about JJ Watt? I mean, JJ Watt this year. I don't know. Can you read what he said here?
Yeah, what do you think about JJ Watt this year? I know he doesn't do training camp because he's injured, but what do you think he's going to do this year? So, if you didn't know, JJ Watt is going to be on the PUP list. So he's not doing very much training camp. He most likely they're gonna save him till week 1. I doubt he's gonna play any preseason games. I hope he has some good production. Any line with JJ Watt and Chandler Jones, I would say watch out. We do have some other good pieces as well, like Jordan Phillips, which unfortunately we didn't really have very much production out of him, which was one of our top free agent pickups a couple of years back. We also got some new up-and-coming people like Licky Fotu, Rashad Lawrence, Zach Allen. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what type of defensive line we can have, because bottom line, it starts in the trenches, and we need to make sure we pressure any quarterback, whether it's Jimmy G, Russell Wilson, or now Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah. It's more important when it comes down to it. You want to pressure that quarterback and frustrate him. So now that we're getting to that defensive line topic, I feel very confident than the previous years when it comes down to the depth. Hopefully a healthy Bosa makes a difference. D Ford, if we can just play him cautiously the smart way, then maybe we'll be okay. But I do like the depth this year from this team in general. I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this guy. I think Arden Key may have not panned out with the Raiders, but he's looking really outstanding in training camp quite lately. He's got a strip sack in training camp. He's making a consistent pressure. Picking up Zach Kerr, which he was on your team at one point. He's looking outstanding in training camp. So looking at quite a few players that stood out on defense. Bosa, they're trying to be more cautious with him and let him do some of those things. Yeah. So, yeah, dude. So it's like, I think that if we can stay healthy, I think we have a chance to at least get to the playoffs. But I'm trying to pause down a little bit and say, you know what? I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I want to wait and see what happens, because when it comes down to us being injured, it's kind of like lower the expectation from right there. So I gotta wait on that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of our teams have to say. As long as we can stay healthy, I think we would be good. And that's the same thing for the Arizona Cardinals here with Kyler Murray. It's been back-to-back years towards the end of this season where he hasn't been the 100% healthiest. So I'm very, very excited to see if he can stay healthy this year, because this team lives and dies by the play of Kyler Murray. I've been saying this time and time again. As long as he can stay healthy, watch out NFL. But we'll see. We do got some new offensive line pieces, which I'm really excited about. Rodney Hudson, being probably one of the best centers of all of football, is now the center for Kyler Murray. We got Kelvin Beachum back. DJ Humphries is always going to be the guy on the left tackle. We got some swing players maybe on the right guard position, and then we got the right tackle being Kelvin Beachum. So, and then Justin Pugh. So we got some new pieces. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we can keep Kyler Murray upright, make sure he doesn't get frustrated, and hopefully he can run out of the pocket when he needs to.
Okay, that's good. So on this question from Jan Paul Edwards D. Dios, is Bosa time-wise, health-wise? Well, if he could stay healthy, I think we'll be all right. How is the rook Kinlaw? He's making some progress during training camp. He's been hitting pretty hard the offseason, lifting weights. He's been doing the drills effectively good. You know what's even surprising about him in the offseason? He went out, he kind of hunted I guess he hunted down an animal and put it on his mouth, which is insane. But this guy is he's no ordinary guy. He's like an animal, dude.
Kinlaw did
it? Yeah.
Dude, he scares me, bro. That guy scares me. I think once he figures it out, watch the heck out, dude. When the moment you guys got him in the draft a couple of years back, because you guys got him, it wasn't this last year, but it was the year prior, right?
Yeah, it was the year prior before that. But
I think watch out. It's gonna be tough.
The thing that I was more upset about most, okay, before I even thought about it, I wanted CeeDee Lamb, and it still haunts me for that time. But I'm okay
there, buddy. You're not alone there.
I'm okay with the Ayuk trade, because I guess you being from AZ, you would know a lot about Ayuk playing over there. So I guess I'm good with it.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk's good, man. Honestly, he was the number 2 for N'Keal Harry in ASU. Obviously, N'Keal Harry was the number 1 when he ended up coming to the Patriots, getting drafted. Brandon Ayuk had some good moments, and I'm glad he ended up going in the first round. I know he's got some. He reminds me a lot of Debo. He reminds me a lot of Debo Samuels. But we'll see.
Oh no! You know what, man? In a way, you're right. But when I see Ayuk play, I see a little bit of Robert Woods.
Oh, I like that. Okay, I like that. I like the comparison.
Because, yeah, they both can separate. They both got those ability to make the plays. And a lot of people don't even talk about Robert Woods, one of the most consistent receiver for the Rams since he signed with the Rams. He's been one of the most underrated player. And when I see him play this game, I look at the way how Ayuk plays the game. It's very similar to what Robert Woods does.
Yeah, people want to focus more on Cooper Kupp, which I think Cooper Kupp is good for the Rams. I do think Robert Woods is probably the best wide receiver, though, hands down.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Robert Woods just doesn't get enough recognition, so that's what it is. Okay, so I guess Lynn's asking another question about Hopkins, man.
Do you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be beast this year? I hope so, my guy. I hope so, man. I think the first game that we had him, when we played you guys in the very first game last year, this guy went off, man. 40 plus yards. This guy blew the
157.
Top off.
It was 157.
My goodness. Yeah.
Dude, it killed me. I was like, damn. He burned one of our corners.
That was all it was. That's where our offense was. Give it to DeAndre Hopkins, and he did everything. So it was a little disappointing to see like the offense not gelling, especially coming into the second year. But honestly, seeing a game like that from probably one of the best wide receivers of all of NFL, that actually made it up, and I stopped crying.
Yeah, when you guys made that trade move, that it was the robbery of the century because all you had to do was give away a broken down
Yep.
David Johnson. That
Yep.
was it. All it took was a broken down David Johnson.
100%, man. 100%. Broken down, David Johnson is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, because he was really good, and then he got injured. So that was the only thing I was thinking. If he was more healthy, I don't think the Cardinals would have never traded him. But it came down to him not staying healthy. So in a way, you guys got away with a robbery. Nobody's looking for nobody in Arizona no more because you guys got away with Hopkins.
Yeah, brother, 100% right, man. David Johnson, I think he might be. I know he's with the Texans still, but it just seems like his time in the NFL might be done. At least a year or two, we might not hear about David Johnson. It sucks the way that the NFL works, but it's what have you done for me lately type of year, and it seems like his progression is getting lower and lower.
Okay, so since I'm hearing a lot of your comments from your own fan base, they don't like the GM Kimes, whatever his name is. What's the issue with him?
The biggest issue with Steve Keim, it's the frustration that comes off with a lot of fans. It's that we don't feel like he knows how to draft very well, and his free agency pickups are a little worrisome. I think if you look at Steve Keim's like history, with the exception of these last few years, and the biggest reason why I say is because we really don't know how they're going to pan out. I mean, let's be honest. We can look at 2013 and we can say, hey, they're either a buster or they're a boom player. Great pickup. But if you look at the last three, the best thing that we can say is, hey, they're new, they're learning, and that's always something that we can kind of use it as an excuse. So we really don't know what's going to happen with Isaiah Simmons, and we really don't know what's going to happen with Kyler. So let's be 100% honest. Yes, we've seen some great stuff from Kyler Murray. The number one thing is let's just make sure he's healthy. But the biggest thing with Steve Keim, top three things GMs can do: draft, trade, and free agency. He sucks two out of those three things. So he could only really pull off really, really good trades, and the frustration level from the fan base is getting very, very apparent. And if it doesn't work out this year, I don't know. I see some changes personally. I really do see some changes in the front office, but I don't know. Like I like to say that because I like to think of it that way, but I know he's super, super buddy with the owner, which is Michael Bidwell. So I'm a little worrisome that he might stay, which make me pull my hair out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's kind of been questionable. I've heard a lot of like this, oh, he's like a drunk GM. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I've been hearing that a lot of times about him. But
well, another thing that's coming out, if you don't mind me just talking about this real quick, is that, Patrick Peterson, obviously he ended up leaving the Cardinals this last offseason. He's on a podcast called All Things Covered Podcast, and he actually got on that podcast, and I highly recommend you hearing it if you're interested. Basically back talking all sorts of stuff on Steve Keim, saying stuff along the lines of, hey, what's the job of the GM? To build a roster, right? Like that's what it is. And then he started like basically saying stuff like he's not good for the culture. He's not, he doesn't keep the right guys defensively. He doesn't think defensively. He'd rather keep an offensive guy. So he was basically going ham on Steve Keim, which obviously these players have a very, very high platform, and you're either going to agree with Patrick Peterson or you're not. So you're going to either have people saying, oh, he's just bitter because he didn't get the contract he wanted here, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have people saying, yeah, I mean, what has Steve Keim really done for us lately? So it's kind of going back and forth. So he's getting a lot of heat.
Oh, that totally makes sense. I mean, this was exactly the same situation we had when we had Trent Baalke, Jed York's buddy. Man, he picked him over Harbaugh. And I can feel your pain right there, but what's even crazier is like I might want to check out the Patrick Peterson podcast and see what he got to say about the GM. I think it tells you a lot how they speak their voice and how they feel. Maybe some people might say, "Oh yeah, he is bitter," or maybe it's just something behind the scenes that nobody's aware of. So it does give you a different perspective.
It's so funny, man, because like I've been saying this since I started my channel here. And my channel is going on to his third year, so I'm really excited. Yay, AZ Sports Fan. It's trending in the right direction. But I've been saying this from the beginning, and I've been getting so much flack about it, saying, you know, he's done this. Every once in a while, Steve Keim has done that one or two big things that most people, they want to keep him around. But in my opinion, is what has he done for me lately? In my mind is, if we're not a playoff team on a consistent basis, obviously we can't go for the Lombardi every year. I understand there's, you know, rebuilds. I'm not delusional, but I think what I want to see is a consistent team building, keeping the culture up on this Arizona Cardinal team on a consistently, and he won't get that much flack from me. But what I do think he lacks is the fact that it's his way or the highway. And I do think he's super, super buddy with Michael Bidwell, and that's the biggest problem. He can't do any wrong, and that's what's going to bring down this Cardinal organization, from the players to the disgruntledness of what happens with Cliff Kingsbury. We'll see.
Oh, definitely, dude. Like, it does play a factor with favoritism, man. Like, it seems to me like he must be behind the scenes kissing, you know who, in the I don't. Yeah, that's what it probably seems like. But
it is.
Yeah, man. I felt the same pain for quite a while when it came to Trent Baalke and Jed York. Jed York and Trent Baalke were buddies. It seemed to me like he would always get the guy he wanted, and then eventually he got fed up. So maybe there'll be a time and place to where your owner Bidwell, or was it Bidwell or Bidwell?
Yeah, Michael Bidwell. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will probably come to a point to where he's fed up with him. You know, it's kind of like they say, it's gonna come to an end at some point, in one way or the other. So it's gonna come, and it's gonna. And if it comes down to an end, I'm going to see that reaction out of you, and it's probably going to be fun.
It's going to be extravagant. Let me tell you that right now, man.
All right, man. I feel you, man. I was feeling the same way when they fired Trent Baalke. It felt like I won the damn Super Bowl with that move.
It's true, man, because, I mean, bottom line, bro, like the amount of, like, this team is built by the GM. That's their job. And if we haven't been a Super Bowl team, and if we haven't been a consistent playoff team, then what are you really doing? Like, why do you have this job? I don't know a person, in my personal opinion, in 7-8 years failing a job and still having job security. That's questionable to me. I always like to tell the people that watch my channel that are older, of course, like, you know, that have jobs and stuff like that. If you can't do your job right, you're going to get fired. That's just plain and simple. That's the real world that we live in. Now, obviously, we have a lot of, younger generation, which is cool, absolutely cool. But they don't really quite grasp that concept yet, because they haven't had a real job yet. But that is what it is. If you have a job, you have one thing to do, and that's build a consistent team and get to the darn playoffs. And if you can't do it for 8 years, or the Super Bowl for 8 years, and how long you've been in this, why are you here? Well, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And that's just my tangent.
Oh yeah, dude. So it's like, what have you done lately? It's kind of like, man, it's at a point to where it needs to make changes, and it gets them to realize it. Like Jed York, it took him maybe like 5 years to realize that Trent Baalke was holding us back. It took the Cowboys 10+ years to fire Jason Garrett for all of a sudden. So it kind of comes to a point to where they got to make the changes.
Good call on that one, brother. Good call on that one.
Bill O'Brien. Yeah,
dude.
But he lost his job too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
I'm excited about the roundtable, man. I'm excited about the roundtable coming up this Tuesday. We have a lot to talk about, and especially be coming every Tuesday. Me, you, Joe, Steezy, man. We're gonna go ham on this season, man. I'm really, really excited about it.
Oh yeah, most definitely, dude. I'm pumped up, man. You know what? I gotta give you a shout out, dude, because you reached out to me when I was just not a big name, and you came up to me and asked me if I was interested, and it just didn't cross. It made me just say, hell yeah, I'm down. You know, it was because I didn't, like, some people were criticizing me and say, did you beg this guy to go into the roundtable? And I'm like saying, no. He reached out to me. Like, did you reach out to me? Like, let's be honest.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah, straight up. We're live here, right? We're still live. Yeah, hell yeah, I did, man. 100%. Yeah. What I want, man, honestly, my main thing was I just want to find people that are passionate about their team. You don't need to be the most person. You don't need to be a person that knows about stats. I don't care about that. To me, if you put me on a spot between, somebody who's the more analytical person, yeah, they make a lot more sense for me. But honestly, I want somebody that's going to be passionate about their team, that's going to really tell me straight up, because that's better stuff. I would rather watch that than somebody being like, well, in 2000, that stuff, man. Yes, I did reach out to you. Long story short.
Yeah, but to all those critics that said, "Oh, you went to beg to AZ or those other people to join,"
Don't listen.
you got your proof right there. It's right in the
Proof
pudding.
in the pudding.
So,
Proof in the pudding.
yeah, it's in the pudding, man. So any of those doubters and naysayers about me begging for this guy, it is case closed.
Yeah,
I'm in the
and it's
round
gonna
table.
be even better, man. Trust me, bro. Like once we get this going this coming Tuesday, it's gonna be good, man. And once we get it consistently, it's gonna be dynamite.
Oh yeah, and definitely going to look forward to those Niners and Cardinals matchups. We'll definitely have to do these little collaboration either on your
Yeah.
stream or mine. Doesn't matter. We're gonna debate football, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Dude, it's gonna be massive, bro.
So so we're pretty much on the 40-minute time limit. I mean, if you want to go on for a little bit, or it's up to you. But
let's save it for the round table. Let's save it for the round table.
Yeah.
I feel like that's let's keep these people at the tip of their tongue and wanting more. This Tuesday on the AZ Sports Fan, we will have the round table NFC West with Steezy A. Smith, Rams Showcase, and my guy CG Ruthless Sports. Guys, it's gonna be good. Be there.
Yeah, so definitely check out the NFC West roundtable, and you're not going to want to miss it. So this is just a preview of what we're saying right now. So you'll see more on Tuesday. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So to all those audience there, I'm going to give AZ his last saying, and we're going to end the stream.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here, man. Appreciate everybody. Tune in again. I know I said it already. Tune into the AZ Sports Fan, and we will be having the NFC West Roundtable. Come on through 6 p.m. AZ time. I will be setting up all the rooms here shortly, guys. So definitely do not want to miss it, especially in the heat of football season. You want to see CG and AZ go, back and forth. You want to see Steezy and Ram Showcase go back and forth, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. Go Cards. All right, brother. I'm gonna head out.